to The Health Affair, a bite sized podcast where we talk about what's healthy, what's unhealthy, and everything in between. Remember, this is the only guilt free affair that you must end up having. And I'm your host, Shweta. What is up, people? It is rightly said that you can't always be the most talented person in the room, but you can definitely be the most competitive one. Healthy competition motivates and drives people to excel at what they do and enables them to learn from their strengths, weaknesses, and mistakes. And you know what's the best part of competing? That it is only through honest competition that we discover what we're really capable of and how much more can we actually achieve than we ever believed to be possible. As someone who loves competition because they're intimidating yet challenging, I'd say compete. Compete hard. Hard enough until your haters brag that they know you. But here's a downside that we all tend to ignore. Competition does bring out the best end products, but sometimes it accidentally brings out the worst in people. Competing has indirectly established a notion that there can only be one winner. Why should there be only one winner? Most people don't realize this, but every one of us can be a winner. Our education system has conditioned us to think in a single, narrow direction and made us believe that the one who makes it to the finish line before others is the only winner, and the runner-up prizes are for consolation, let alone the truth that other participants also put in the same amount of effort, or sometimes even more. And this is one of the reasons why we hesitate to help our fellow men. Because all we are thinking is, I wanna win too, as we believe that winning will provide us with the ultimate feedback that we have made it. But what if all of us won? Not just the small wins, but win big time. Win every day, and not just win for the pride of self, but win with and for everyone around you. Anyone who imagines that they can work their way up alone winds up being surrounded by nothing but rivals. The fact is, no one ascends alone. Real winners like to see other people win, and that's the beauty of competition. And yeah, of course, there are going to be times when you feel a little insecure after seeing others build at a faster rate, especially when you're both engaged in the same business. Anytime you find someone who's more successful than you are, remember they're doing something that you aren't. Instead of cribbing about it, you might just go and ask them how they do it and end up with a solution. Collaboration over competition, always. I'm a big Marvel fan for this one reason: collaboration and teamwork. Love the way Avengers come together when they have to fight the bad guy and save the world. Every Avenger has his own set of strengths which are unique, and hence there might be ego clashes sometimes. But what sets them apart is their will to support each other for the greater good. So, how do we curb this vicious attitude towards competition? Number 1. Acknowledge. Some people try to defame others just because they want to climb the staircase before everyone. Extreme hatred and jealousy is seen during such times. I want to ask such people one simple question: at what expense are you really doing this? Instead of putting others down, look within yourself and fix your approach. Acknowledge your shortcomings and start working on them. Number 2, appreciate. Be appreciative of the strengths you have. Having a proactive approach is super important on rainy days. Push yourself to find that one ray of sunshine and keep doing it over and over again until it becomes your second nature. Once you've gotten into this habit, start adding up different skills to your established skill set. Number 3, uplift. When you're in the position of power and someone who's just starting out comes to you for help, be supportive and give positive feedback. Encourage them to do better. Still not convinced? Here's something I want you to do right now. Go look into the mirror. That's your competition right there. However cliche that might sound, the only person you should try to be better than is the one you were yesterday. It is the journey of reaching towards your best self that really matters. If you do not enjoy it, then does it even matter whether you win or lose in the end? Always aim to beat your last best performance. Set such high standards for yourself that you have to go out every day and live up to that. When you're in your own lane, there is no traffic. Larger-than-life empires weren't built by one single person but by a team. A good team. Teamwork makes the dream work. Nothing better than vibing with your tribe. The healthiest competition occurs when average people win by putting above-average effort. And that is when real learning takes place. Remember, competition makes us faster, but collaboration makes us better. I hope you do good in your chosen ventures, and I'm sure we'd all make it to the end. And this brings us to the last segment of our today's episode, QOTD, and that is the question of the day. So, here it is.
Hi, my name is Sabiha, and my question is, does lymphatic drainage massage really work? And can it be done manually at home to slim down our face?
Hi there, Sabiha, and thank you for such a good question. As the name suggests, lymphatic drainage is a technique used to drain excessive fluid accumulated underneath your skin, which is also medically known as lymphatic fluid, and it is generally used as an adjunctive treatment in conditions like lymphedema. So, yeah, it does work if there's swelling or bloating and your lymphatic system is involved. Well, I'm not very sure of whether it would work if done at home unless you've learned it from an expert. But there are simplified versions available which are safe to do at home, and I can share those with you on our Instagram handle, The Health Affair. There is a lot of hype around lymphatic drainage that it's a non surgical facelift and has tremendous beauty benefits, but it doesn't live up to that hype. As of now, there isn't much concrete evidence about whether it helps resolve the accumulated fat under the skin. But you can definitely use this technique if your face feels puffier than usual and need a quick fix, especially when you're stepping out. Hope this helps, and don't forget to check our Instagram story tonight. On this note, we are at the end of today's episode. Tell me what you liked and disliked. Was there something that provoked you to think? You can drop us a message on our mail, thehealthaffair101@gmail.com, or on our Instagram handle, thehealthaffair.in. You can also connect to us on our Facebook page, The Health Affair, and our Twitter page, Health Affair 101. All your feedback and suggestions matter just the way you matter to me. Thank you so much for listening, and I'd see you on Tuesday with a fresh and hot out of the oven episode. Until then, adios.